The European Union is responding to a theatre of conflict that's for too long sat at the periphery of continental strategy of the Black Sea. Historically, this crossroads of empire and trade has now become a flashpoint of 21st century politics. With Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, the Black Sea therefore has transformed from a regional backwater, the Black Sea backwater, into the new front of European security. So, beginning with some context, after the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, Russia retained the lion's share of the Black Sea fleet, but was obliged to share Sevastopol with Ukraine through a leasing agreement. And that delicate balance shattered in 2014 when Vladimir Putin illegally annexed Crimea, granting Moscow unchallenged command of the fleet's base and significantly extending its control over the Black Sea waters. It enabled what military analysts call A2AD, anti-access area denial, using submarines, missiles and coastal defence to deter NATO and strangle Ukrainian exports, particularly grain. By 2022, Putin's full-scale invasion began with an amphibious thrust towards Snake Island. Whoever controls that barren rock controls surveillance and influence over southern Ukraine's sea and airspace. But the tide has turned. Ukraine, with Western-donated Storm Shadow missiles and homegrown maritime zone drones, has pushed Russia's fleet back to its own shores, and Crimea's aura of invulnerability has been shattered. In this power vacuum, Brussels has awakened from its maritime slumber. And this month, the EU launched its first ever Black Sea strategy, an ambitious and overdue recognition of the region's strategic importance. Presented by Kaja Kallas, the Estonian foreign policy chief, this strategy is Europe's attempt to emerge not just as a donor or cheerleader, but as a player in this region. And it rests on three pillars. First, at the heart of the plan is the proposal for a Black Sea maritime security hub, a command centre aimed at real-time monitoring from space to seabed, and its mission is to detect malign naval activity, hybrid sabotage, the shadow fleet of oil tankers flouting sanctions, and potential damage to undersea infrastructure such as gas pipelines or communication cables. It's also intended as an early warning system for any Russian adventurism. The hub will also support demining operations, as both Ukraine and Russia have littered the seabed with explosives that now threaten civilian shipping and environmental safety. But there is a caveat or several. The location of this hub is still undecided and its scope undefined, and crucially, there is no budget as yet. It will depend on negotiations around the EU's next 7-year financial framework. The second point is the military mobility, and crumbling transport links are not just an economic nuisance, they are a strategic vulnerability. In the event of conflict, NATO cannot move troops and hardware efficiently through southeastern Europe, so the EU now proposes to invest in dual-use infrastructure, ports, roads, railways and airfields, especially in Romania and Bulgaria, and these routes are vital arteries in the logistics network that would underpin any credible European defence effort. This also means shielding those assets from Chinese acquisition, particularly in Georgia, where Beijing has begun investing in port infrastructure. As the EU seeks to make the Black Sea a global gateway, it must also prevent it from becoming a global pawn. The third issue is to connect, and Brussels intends to use the Black Sea as a launch pad for deeper integration with the Caucasus and Central Asia. And through the connectivity agenda, the EU wants to build new transport, energy and digital corridors linking Europe to Baku, to Tashkent and beyond. It's a geopolitical Silk Road, one designed to bypass Russia. And this is where Ukraine, Moldova and possibly Georgia come in, and the strategy aligns with their path to accession. It offers investment, rule of law incentives and digital integration, the slow, technical but vital architecture of enlargement. And then there's Turkey. As both a NATO member and Black Sea gatekeeper under the 1936 Montreux Convention, Turkey can deny entry to foreign warships, and it has. Ankara walks a tightrope, selling drones to Ukraine while trading oil with Russia, condemning the Crimea annexation but hesitating to fully back EU initiatives. The EU needs Turkey, but Turkey so far prefers ambiguity. So where does this leave the rest of us? Where does this leave the EU? In truth, the EU's strategy is symbolically impressive but tactically incomplete. It acknowledges Russia's aggression, it links defence with economic strategy, and it gestures towards long-term transformation, but without clear funding, without clear command structures or guarantees of cooperation, especially from and with Turkey, it risks becoming another glossy document filed in Brussels archives. Yet even flawed, it is a significant first step. It signals that Europe is no longer prepared to let Russia dominate the Black Sea by default. It's a belated recognition that the security of Odessa and the economic lifeline of Ukrainian grain are vital to Europe's interests as a defense of Vilnius or Warsaw. And as Ursula von der Leyen remarked, this is not just about strategy, it's about solidarity, and perhaps, at last, it's about seriousness. And we need to get serious about the Black Sea, from Sinop through to Sevastopol. If Crimea is to be retaken as a Ukrainian outpost, as a part of Ukraine, then we need to be serious about what we do to secure that. And if by chance Crimea is not to be retaken, we also need to be clear about what we do and to make sure that we are ready to ensure the Black Sea is a stable and working international arena.